This is Total Retail Tech Insights.
The content retail executives need to optimize their use of technology throughout their organizations.
Hello, and welcome to this episode of Total Retail Tech Insights. I'm Joe Keenan, Editor-in-Chief of Total Retail, and I am joined on today's episode by Tom Caporaso, who is the CEO of Clarus Commerce. And we're going to be speaking with Tom today all about premium loyalty and its future within the retail space. So thank you for joining me today, Tom.
Thanks for having me, Joe.
So a good place for us to start would be for you to tell us a little bit about Clarus Commerce for those that might not be familiar with the company.
Sure. So Clarus is a 20-plus-year-old company and really the only company focused on building premium loyalty programs for retailers. So we help retailers combine both customer loyalty with subscription revenue to help them create profitable loyalty programs from the first day they launch. So we do offer a technology platform that's created specifically for premium loyalty, and we bring in other full service suite of services like strategy, creative, marketing, testing and optimization, analytics, client services, and then really any back office to run those loyalty programs. And we were just featured in the Forrester Wave, the latest Wave report on loyalty solutions, where they gave us a 5 out of 5 on services. So we do pride ourselves on our managed service approach.
Yeah, that's great. Congrats on that recognition. So my follow-up to that would be to have you tell us a little bit about your career background, Tom, and what led you to Clarus.
Yeah, so I've been at Clarus. I'm heading into my 13th year, which is kind of crazy to say, but my career is over 25 plus years. Focused mainly in customer loyalty and subscription programs. And what led me to Clarus, 13 years ago, was I met the founder and we hit it off. And he told me about the vision for the business, and I knew I can play a large role in that, and had the opportunity to jump on then and been just thrilled with the growth of the company, the growth of our client portfolio, the growth of our technology platform, and obviously I've seen a lot of different things in retail over the last 12 and 13 years, and things have definitely changed, and we pride ourselves on being at the leading edge of that innovation and trying to help our retail partners with all the moving parts.
Yeah, certainly a 25-year career in the space and 13 years at Clarus. You've certainly seen things evolve. So you can add some good perspective here. So we each have used the term premium loyalty. So I think just for the audience sake and to further this conversation, maybe you can define what you mean by premium loyalty, what it means to Clarus Commerce.
Yep. So we are solely focused on premium loyalty, and we actually coined the term premium loyalty a couple of years ago, and it's definitely stuck, and we've seen it out there in a lot of different areas. But in a nutshell, it is a type of loyalty program where your best customers pay a membership fee in exchange for instant or enhanced benefits. So in many ways, it's the opposite of a traditional loyalty program. There's no points. There's no waiting for rewards. Members can essentially use all of the benefits of the program the second they sign up. So, and it just give you some sense of it. The typical benefits include, discounts on free shipping on every order, free return shipping, and cash back. And then we also help our clients with the VIP experiences. So we definitely merge the traditional and transactional benefits, but we also try to help them with the experiential side of it. So if you think of a good example of a premium loyalty program, and probably the largest one out there is Amazon Prime, but many other retailers are out there in all shapes and sizes. Obviously, Walmart has entered the space about a year ago, but yeah. Best Buy, Lululemon, CVS, there's lots of other premium loyalty programs in the space.
And we're going to be talking about, for our audience, the retail space. Premium loyalty programs exist in other industries as well?
They definitely do. Subscription as a whole, as you probably know, Joe, has taken off, and not just content like Netflix and Disney Plus, but continuity boxes like a Birchbox or a Food Box. So there are subscription-based programs that have a lot of value in them, not specific to any other verticals, but I think subscription as a whole is taken off.
So let's get into the benefits of such a premium loyalty program. There's two perspectives here. We have the retailer and then obviously the end consumer or the end customer. Let's start with the value for the retailer. Tell us a little bit about what the benefits of rolling out a premium loyalty program look like for a retailer or a brand.
Yeah, I think the biggest piece and one of the biggest struggles retailers have is that loyalty is more difficult than ever for them to maintain. We actually have done some data studies, and nearly 2/3 of the customers say their loyalty is more difficult for retailers to maintain, and that's a key point. So everyone's one click away from another purchase or one click away from a different brand. So for retailers, they really have to think broadly around their programs and how they can drive real value into their loyalty programs, and that for our view of it is really the instant type benefits. The days of transacting and then waiting for rewards downstream, maybe months or years later, has really gone by the wayside. And I think consumers are demanding those instant benefits and really trying to drive these programs forward for the retailers is somewhat difficult. And that's where Clarus obviously comes in with not only our expertise, but our platform. But, again, if you're listening to your consumers, they're demanding these types of programs where there's real value from day one. And if there is real value from day one, they're willing to pay a subscription or a membership fee to join. And that's ultimately what we're seeing in the market.
In terms of the market and what you're seeing, we often hear, and is this? I'm curious to get your feedback on, is this the trend you're seeing at Clarus, that younger consumers in particular, your millennials, Gen Zers, they're even less brand loyal than some of older demographics. Are you finding that to be true? And are premium loyalty programs even potentially more of an opportunity if you're targeting that younger customer?
Well, I think from a generational perspective, the millennials and folks that are in that group are more comfortable with technology as a whole, and with that, they're able to easily search and find discounts and values, and maybe are less brand, have less affinity towards a brand. However, there is information and content out there that millennials are more willing to join premium loyalty programs because they see the value in it, they understand it, and they would go back to that brand if they join that program. So, I think it's twofold. They're definitely comfortable with technology and are able to click around and get the best offer deal. But when they do find a program that's meaningful to them, they will shop back at that brand.
So it's sort of in a similar vein. We've talked about kind of the value that retailers can extract from a premium loyalty program, what those benefits look like. Let's flip the coin and let's talk about the consumer. What is the value of premium loyalty programs for consumers, and what do those benefits look like?
Yeah, again, I think it has a couple different aspects to it. I think there is that instant gratification. We're all kind of, if we're not already wired this way, we're really close to really wanting our benefits instant. And I think that goes to the loyalty program. So driving that value from day one and not having to make those purchases over time with the rewards that ultimately come later. And some of the foundational benefits of these premium loyalty programs are the free shipping, the free returns, the cash back, the offers, but marrying that with those experiential rewards that not all customers have access to. So that VIP experience, that's really important because yes, they could do the math and transactional benefits definitely have a monetary impact, but having a program that feels almost custom to you or having experiences that are meaningful to you are really what customers are looking for. And I think, one of the examples out there is Lululemon. I think their program's just under $170 on an annual basis. So they have those foundational benefits like free shipping on every order. They give away a free pair of pants upon sign up, and you know how expensive those pants might be. But they also get access to yoga and fitness classes as part of that membership, and it really talks to more of the lifestyle of a Lululemon customer. So marrying both transactional and experiential benefits, I think that's a great example.
Yeah, I think that is. And to your point, $170, not an insignificant amount of money. So that consumer then becomes invested in that brand. I imagine they're highly engaged then with Lululemon. They want to get their money's worth in what they've already spent. So is that the case in terms of the premium loyalty? I would imagine you're going to see much higher levels of engagement of premium loyalty members versus a standard loyalty program member that somebody is not paying it to get into.
Yeah, we definitely see that both from our data study where we talked to about 300 different retail marketing leaders, and they said their premium loyalty members are 4 times as valuable as non-members. And I think a stat came out from McKinsey where they said that premium loyalty customers spent 60%, and free or traditional members spend about 30% more than a non-member in any of those programs. So it just shows the value of a premium loyalty subscriber versus a free or traditional, or versus a customer that's in neither program.
Yeah, and that lifetime value, as you spoke to, really, driving that loyalty is key for the retailer. You've mentioned it, Tom, and I wanted to talk a little bit about your premium loyalty data study that Clarus has produced. Maybe you want to give us some of the highlights from that report, and tell us kind of some of the key findings that you uncovered.
Yeah, and we've done it now the last 2 years. I think the keys, and we talked a little bit about the trend of premium loyalty as a broader retail trend, but one thing that kind of jumped off the page for us is that 70% of those not in a premium loyalty program would join if their favorite retailer offered one. And the benefits were valuable. Again, talking to the value of program. These are not set and forget programs. You can't put it out there and cross your fingers and hope it works. You gotta look at the program. You gotta understand the data, and you gotta continue to optimize the program. So you gotta continue to drive value into the program. And the other input that we got from the survey is that the top 2 benefits that would motivate them to join were the free shipping and instant discounts. So again, transactional benefits, key, almost table stakes for these programs, but also validated by customers saying that they would join the program with those on. And then I think the last piece is 67% of respondents said they're likely to join a premium loyalty program if they already belong to that retailer's free loyalty program. So we live and breathe the premium loyalty side of the house, but we know there's a tremendous amount of value in the free loyalty space, and we are big advocates of that tiered approach, bringing them in potentially as a free customer, and then introducing or offering that premium tier to them. And we know from our data that if they're in that free layer and are engaged with the brand at some level, those top customers are going to jump over into a premium program and get the enhanced benefits. So, I think it makes a lot of sense to have both. And we're seeing more and more retailers out in the space not only have a free or a paid, but really having both.
Yeah, that crossover percentage is of the members that would be in both upwards of 70% willing to, that speaks to the value in potentially offering that free program, but also moving into the premium space as well. I did want to follow up, and I don't know if you captured this data or if you have any insight into it, in terms of the kind of cost threshold that consumers would be willing to pay. I guess it might depend upon the brand. If a luxury brand might have a higher cost threshold for its premium loyalty program than a more of a discount brand. Is any ideas around that in terms of, what are consumers expecting to pay? Is that kind of $170, $200, that kind of the top of the range, or do you see that potentially even being higher for retailers?
Yeah, it is the top of the range. We didn't survey on it, but just knowing the programs that we power, we're as low as $1.99 a month up to, 12 or 13 to $14 a month. But then if you look at the broader landscape, there's a $200 Best Buy program. Obviously, we mentioned Lululemon around 170, Prime's around 120, Walmart Plus is just under 100. So I think the key is, are these programs valuable, right? The price point is one component of it, but if there's no value or the consumers aren't using and utilizing the program, the fee doesn't really matter because they're gonna attrit out of the program. So I think the key is trying to figure out what the right price point is for your brand, but also what the right product structure and components and features and benefits that are included in that program and optimized over time and enhanced over time, so that the consumer continues to find value in that program and also ultimately retains year over year.
Yeah, what matters to your customers essentially, and then baking those features into your program is going to be critical to sustaining those levels of membership.
Yeah, and that's a great point, because the data is key, right? So all these retailers have a tremendous amount of data, and that's one component of it is compiling that data. But really, how do you use that data? How do you understand your customers? Not only how they're interacting with your loyalty program, but how are they interacting with your overall brand? And we try to help retailers do that. We try to help them understand the different marketing segments that they have from a consumer profile perspective, and really try to help them think about those different segments, but how are they interacting with the brand, from an AOV, from an order frequency, from a conversion into the program, and really trying to help them move the needle on some of those key KPIs.
So let's talk a little bit, Tom, about where we sit today. In terms of the retail landscape, there's some optimism. We're hopefully here at the end of the pandemic.
Yep.
We're making progress in that front. So there's optimism kind of within the space. Tell us a little bit then why loyalty may even be more critical as we kind of transition into this post-pandemic stage of the retail life cycle.
Yeah, we talked to what I've seen in the last 12 or 13 years. I would say what I've seen in the last 12 to 15 months has been unbelievable. And I think there's a couple different pieces that are moving, and I think it's moved the needle on the digital side of how consumers purchase, either through internet, website, mobile, and really away from brick and mortar. And pre-pandemic, 80% of customers bought something in a physical store. Obviously, that number has moved down significantly, and one of the reasons, obviously, because stores were closed. But as we come out the other side of this pandemic, how many of those new buying behaviors are going to stick, and how many people are comfortable sitting at a desk at home and making purchase online, or even buying their groceries online and having them delivered, versus walking into a brick and mortar store. I think McKinsey is the one who came out with a study that said 75% of consumers have tried a new shopping habit during COVID. Again, the key will be, as we come out of the other side, how many of those habits are going to stick, and how many will go back to maybe pre-pandemic habits. I know, at least as we're coming, the early days of coming out the other side, I think people are running outside of their houses to go interact in a physical store and just interact with people in general. But I think the key will be how many are creating new habits, how many will feel comfortable doing those habits while they're can go in and out of the house. I think the other big piece is just Amazon as an overarching monster in retail. We talked a little bit about Prime, 200 million members, but there's data out there that said 50% of all product searches start at Amazon. So if you're a brand and you're thinking about, how do I compete against Amazon, building a loyalty program, potentially a premium loyalty program, is one kind of tool in that toolkit, and really trying to make that right for your brand and customize. You don't have to build an Amazon Prime product. Amazon Prime started with one benefit. It was 2-day shipping. And obviously it has moved to so many different benefits. There's no way for most retailers to replicate what Prime is. So you have to think about what's the right program, what's the right feature set for my end consumer. And if you think about what Walmart Plus did roughly a year ago, they didn't, and they came out publicly and said we're not going head to head with Prime. From a benefit configuration, that's accurate. I mean, they went and they focused on grocery, which Prime doesn't really do. They focused on gas, which, you know, if you think about the bigger Amazon network, they have Whole Foods, but they don't have a gas. And when you think about consumer spending, gas and grocery happens every single week, maybe multiple times a week. So, and that's the Walmart shopper. Obviously, they put in the free shipping, they put in the VIP experience in store, but you know, focusing on what's right for the Walmart shopper versus trying to replicate a Prime program was a really interesting strategy, and I think it's paid dividends for them. So if you're, you know, you don't have to be a top 2 brand, but if you're a top 200, 2000 brand, what's the right benefit mix for your consumers, and, you know, build a program around those features to start.
And to your first point, do you foresee some of that omni-channel behavior? You mentioned consumers, they're not going to give up digital, especially if they've had convenient experiences and good experiences buying from retailers and brands over the last 12 to 15 months. They're probably going to continue to behave in such ways, but they're also going to get back into stores. How do you think some of those omni-channel behaviors, and then maybe some of the services that have really been adopted by more consumers and retailers are offering some of these omni-channel services, how do you see those playing into potentially loyalty programs, if at all?
I think they'll be a big part of it. I think that the keys to them is understanding maybe the next 90 to 120 days right before the holidays. And, you know, hopefully, to your point, Joe, everything keeps moving in the right direction. People get out there, but really trying to understand, you know, how many people are actually coming back to the store versus is traffic still up, is purchase still up online and through mobile. And then kind of morphing the best of both those worlds. If that's enhanced services in store, if that's new features and functionalities that were picked up over the last 12 or 15 months online, and taking the best of those benefits and really trying to build a program around that. Because I think to your point, it is going to be an omni-channel world. And yes, there's new habits that are created, but there's also old habits that won't go away. And how do you mix you know, the best of what we've learned in a really horrible time over the last 15 months and build that into a program that's really valuable for your consumers. And I think I keep driving and beating that drum around value, but that's the key to any loyalty program for your premium is there value in the program? Do consumers engage with it because they see the value and understand the value? Yeah. And then are they moving the needle on, you know, whatever those key KPIs are for the program from the retailer perspective? I think those are the key points, regardless of, you know, omni-channel, in-store, online, via mobile, making sure that you're driving value to the end consumer so they can see that and ultimately stay with the program is key for any loyalty program out there.
Yeah, you're beating the drum on it, but it, you know, it's you're doing so because it's, you know, critical and makes sense.
Yeah.
So it's a great point. So then finally, Tom, just tell us for the audience that wants to learn a little bit more about premium loyalty as well as Clarus Commerce, and, you know, what you can do to help them. You know, give us some information on how people can get in touch.
Yeah, the best way is come to our site, claruscommerce.com, CLARUS commerce.com. We'd love to hear from you. You can email us at premiumloyalty@claruscommerce.com. You know, and I think what we've done well over the years is, you know, listening and talking to prospects. And even if we don't have the right solution, is really trying to help retailers think about their programs and ultimately try to help them think about a broader strategy. We do a lot of things in the early stages of conversation around what we know in the market, maybe what we know specific to the vertical that retailer might be in, and sharing those essentially free of charge, and really trying to give some idea starters with the hope that, yes, there's a relationship that we can build together. But even at the end of the day, if there's not, we pride ourselves on being the subject matter expert in this space. So we're very comfortable in talking about premium loyalty, the do's and the don'ts, and what we've seen in the market. So we'd love for people to come and you know, reach out to us, set up some time with our team. and talk to us about what we've seen and potentially how we can help them.
Yeah, you make a great point, Tom, in terms of Clarus being a resource for retailers, particularly those that are potentially interested in launching a premium loyalty program. With that in mind, Clarus has recently produced a premium loyalty starter bundle, which includes the data study that you've referenced, as well as more great content packaged together. Our listeners can get this resource by going to claruscommerce.com/total retail. With that, I'd like to take the opportunity to thank Tom Caporaso, who is the CEO of Clarus Commerce, for joining us on today's episode of Total Retail Tech Insights. Thank you, Tom.
Thanks, Joe.
Thanks for listening. For more information on this podcast, please check out our podcast channel page at mytotalretail.com/podcast for show notes. Tech Insights is available on Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Stitcher, and Spotify. Make sure to subscribe on our podcast channel page as well. If you've enjoyed this episode, please take a few moments to rate and review this podcast. Thanks, and until next time, this has been Total Retail Tech Insights.